Hey, this will be a rather quick one. It's about how we're using GitHub for the project. We're not using Perforce, which I know is generally a recommended one. With GitHub, you have to, or with Git, you have to worry about the fact that a lot of Unreal Engine files are binary, and we can't diff them, or whenever you're doing pull request, if we each have changes to a map, you can't compare those. So communication is key to keep off of each other's toes when you're working on certain types of files. That's one of the reasons that the map repository is exclusive and marked as with the red to not be used unless you know that you're supposed to be in it, and that's why you would make your maps out here and they'd be integrated into the production assets. So that said, it's not perfect, but we do avoid most of the conflicts by sticking to that. And so this is some recent changes I did, a handful of files, and I just add those, commit and push to the GitHub, which is going to be done through your own branch. We are going to be consolidating this so that we don't keep old branches. So as a pull request is done, I believe it's set up now to automatically delete that branch. So I have created mine, this release stream or pre-release or something with my latest one, and I just made a commit on that, and then once I'm through with it, I'll create a pull request. We merge from our branch into the dev branch. Let's see if I've got my pre-release here. Looks like I maybe did not push that one yet, so I'll just use my obstacles. So I'm merging from mine into that, create the pull. There's no changes here, so it won't show up. But once we are ready to upload a new version to itch, we will go from dev into our master branch. And these things are done, these pull requests are requiring approval at both of these levels. You can create your branch and push to it as much as you want, and then we can grab off of that. But when you're going into dev or into master, the pull requests, I'll show a close one, will require at least one review, and if we find issues with that, then we'll increase the number of reviews required before they can be merged. So it would have to be another contributor. There's only a few of us, and it's not going to be too hard to go into the Discord and say, okay, my commit's ready, we'll check out the files. With this one, we had to remove these intermediate saved. Both of those directories are not part of the repository, but that's a common thing, especially with the desktop client. I haven't looked through it to see what a quick fix is for that. So they made this one, and then we had a comment that says, okay, we've got to clear that up before we can merge this, which was done, and then it was approved and then merged. So that's the basic process here, and that's why it's all done within the same repository, and that's why we each have our own branches that you can make as you like. There's definitely don't want to make a ton of things, but any way that helps you divide up your work, feel free to make branches for your work that way. And then commits, I would just recommend keeping them frequent and make the comments as descriptive as possible for someone who is possibly going to need to look at them to work with you. But that's not as common. So that is really it. There's basically all the technical stuff left out of this. There are a couple tricks that I have run into because of that those binary conflicts, but they should present themselves pretty clearly whenever we run into them. And we spent like a year working through this. So again, it's not perfect, but we have some good ways to deal with those. It's basically not doing a fast forward and not automatically doing commit. So whenever you do a merge from the latest dev branch into your branch to make sure it's all clean, it will say, okay, any changes we're going to treat as a conflict. So those binary files are forced to say these are changes, even though it would normally be automatically overridden, since the user doesn't go into the binary files to see stuff. So it's assumed that those can be automatically merged. So it says, no, we have to do that manually, and then we'll say, okay, I see these maps have changed. on both cases, which one do I want? And then I get to manually say, okay, I changed that one on purpose. Oh, I didn't mean to change that one. Oh, I didn't know that one got changed, so I'll communicate with whoever had changed the last. And you kind of have to work through those things manually a little bit, but it's not too bad, especially if we keep in contact on Trello and on Discord. So that is it for this. And please reach out because I know that won't answer everything. And even if it's clear now, stuff will come up that makes that not enough info, and I'd be happy to work through problems that come up.